Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever I'm finding you today, besties. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to my puppy. Today's video is literally just me continuing from last week's video. I ran out of time, and I was yapping too much that I hurt my throat. So, enjoy, my loves, have fun, and stick with me, question mark. Am I the a-hole for telling my friends they can't live in my home, even though they are being kicked out of their place? I have been in this situation, which is why I'm choosing this story, because somebody used the excuse of being homeless, even though they had an option. They had many options. I think they had like 3 or 4 options. They just said they were going to be homeless if I didn't let them live with me. Worst decision I ever made. They ruined my house. Okay, I'm going to try and get everything in here and make it not too long. Go off, honestly, go off. If my throat dies, you're just gonna end up listening to Cop's husband, I guess. Myself, 26 female, and my husband, 29 male. But I'm sorry, my voice is breaking. I coughed and I ruined it. Brought our first home back in 2024. Congratulations on you to you both. We have been saving up, and it was a big move, but we were and still are super happy to have our own place and to not live with our parents. You know what? 26 and 29, you bought your own place rather than like renting. That's great. I see why you lived with your parents though, because you were saving, and I'm hoping that you didn't just lounge about like the last person did. Not the OP, the boyfriend. We have 2 friends who are a couple, 26 and 29, the same as you. Female 26 and male 29. They have been staying with other friends in their home for roughly 3 or 4 years. They rent out a room in their home. Okay, they rent, so they're paying the bills, that's fine. Those friends are finally done with people renting out rooms in their home and finally want their home to themselves. Yeah, that's fine. So they told our friends they have until March to figure out their plans. This was told to them in October, so they were given ample time. Yeah, November, December, January, February, March. Yeah, 6 months, that's half a year. I think for me, finding a house took me 3 months of like extensive searching, and that's in the UK. I did go private. I wasn't being kicked out. It was just because there was like loads of break-ins. Oh my god, I could give you so many stories of the break-ins. It was terrifying. But yeah, I don't even think it took me like the full 3 months. It took me less than 3 months to find a place. Anyway, I digress. October to March. Well, my fiance came to me and asked me if our friends could come live with us, and I said hell no. My fiance got a little frustrated with me and told me if we had the space, why not? Okay, well, who cares if you have the space? Your home is your safe space. Your home is also your private space. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna walk around my house butt naked. I have blackout curtains for a reason. I told him this was our home, and quite frankly, if I want to walk around the house, that's what I'm saying. If I want to walk around the house naked, I should be able to. I love this. Jaded Girl 88. We think alike, bestie. There are other reasons I will get into later. He said they didn't have anywhere else to go, and I told him I would think about it. Okay, right. They've got 6 months to look, and if they're only renting out a room and not a house, they should have a lot of money put aside for a house. Because I'm sure renting a room is so much cheaper than renting a house. I'm trying to think, like, I don't want to tell anybody any of my financial information, but I'm pretty sure, because it is a thing you can rent rooms. Renting a room is like £80 a week, unless you want a room with a shower, then it's like 100 a week or 120 a week with an ensuite. Whereas most houses now, you have to pay like between 500 and 900 a month, depending on the rooms. If they're only doing like 80 a week or 100 a week, then they realistically should have a lot of money saved for renting a room. Obviously, change that to dollars or whatever. Fast forward to a week later, my fiance and I came back together, and I told him I wasn't comfortable with another person staying in the house, with other people staying in the house. We spent so much time and effort saving for. Yeah, that is another point. You both stayed with your parents longer than you wanted to save up, and there is a lot of social stigma behind that. A lot of people will judge. I love my mum, but I don't think I could live with her again. I love her to pieces, but I like having my own space. He wasn't happy but respected my thoughts on it. I told him I would be more inclined to let them if they both had stable jobs. They both work but don't have career jobs. Hey, are they freelancers or are they on 0-hour contracts? They both had driver's licenses. Okay, if they both had driver's licenses. I'm assuming. Okay, I am gonna say I don't know what that has to do with it, but maybe that is because you might not be from I'm assuming you're not from the UK, based on how easy it was for you to buy a house. I saw an effort, and three, I saw an effort on them to save money. More on this, they have never lived by themselves, always with someone else, friends or family, so living expenses were always not too expensive. I always hear about them planning to go out and eat, go on a mini vacation, or things of the nature. If you know you are being kicked out of your place rather soon, why aren't you saving up? That's what I'm saying. Why have you guys been spending money on? What have you guys been spending money on for 4 years, close to 6 years, because the prior living arrangements do not have money for a one-bedroom, one-bathroom? Yeah, again, I did say that earlier or something, waffling around that. If you're not paying house money, surely you would have the money saved for it. But I don't think number two is necessary unless, again, this is the States, because I don't know much about that. I'm not sure why you'd need a driver's license. I get life is expensive. Yep. Trust me, I know. But I and my fiance have worked so hard to get into our home and have a place for ourselves. My fiance has a hard time telling people no. Yeah, same bestie, but you've got to do what's right for you. And, if you've got pets, if you've got kids, do what's right for them. I have no issue with it. So he told me I'd have to be the one to tell them no when they officially come to us to ask to move into our spare room, which I have no issue doing. They are probably our closest friends, but I feel as if I have to tell them. But I feel like if I tell them yes, they can move in, they wouldn't save up for a place of their own and would be here forever. You know what? Yeah. When does a couple of months turn into a couple of years? Because they stayed for 4 years at the other person's house. I don't want them staying in my house at all. I like my alone time when I come back from work. I work a 13-hour shift. Oh, are you a nurse? Oh my god, poor woman. But I'm starting to feel somewhat bad because my fiance told me they really don't have a lot saved up. I told my fiance that wasn't my fault, that they didn't save money. I felt kind of like an asshole when I said this, but it's true. Given the context that they're always going out, spending money on vacations, trips, meals going out instead of cooking at home, your point is not a-hole-ish. If they were trying to save and weren't being so generous with their money, then I'd say you were being an asshole, but no, they're being so out there, like spending so much. They haven't come out and asked us to move in yet, but this was more of a jump the gun question. I think the question is coming soon. Okay, so am I the asshole for saying my friends can't live with us? Okay, you are not, because this is your house. The only time you can really put the rules in place is in your own home. Like, obviously, there's like exceptions, but I can't be bothered getting into that. But you can't accept every single person into your house, because then are you just going to have like a church in your house? There are solutions, and they would have found these solutions if they didn't see your house as the only way out, because it's the easiest way out. There are so many things that they could do. There are community centers, there are charities that would give you the down payment up front and you pay them back every month. Again, like, it's not ideal to put out a loan, but they could get a loan and then pay it back. They could borrow the money for the down payment and put it back. Or, depending on where they live, like the UK have a council, if you're going to be like on the streets, you get put on the top of the list and they find you the next available house. That's where our tax goes for like the council who run everything. Council houses are cheaper than private houses. And they're owned by the council, not by landlords. Also, I'm sure there is a landlord out there who would happily take the down payment in bits, just add an extra bit on the rent every. Are they expecting to buy a house instead of rent? Because if they've got something saved up, surely they can put a down payment down on a furnished house, or a furnished flat, or a furnished like house share, studio apartment. Why are they acting as though they have to buy a house? Edit. The reason I don't want to give them a time frame like, oh, you can stay in our home for 2 months, but then you need to find somewhere else, is because of squatters' rights. Oh my god, F the squatters' rights. I'm not saying they would enforce this, but I really don't think they would, but it's. Let me try again. I'm not saying they would enforce this, I really don't think they would, but it's the fact that they would have the rights to stay in my home if they built a residency. Yeah, squatters' rights are the most just like bizarre things ever. Like, I don't have time to get into it, just read up on it if you're curious. It'd be near impossible to get them out, yeah. People can just get into your house, say they've got squatters' rights and never leave. And it's like their house now. I don't get it. It's stupid. You're not the asshole. Like, again, the down payment is, I think it's like a month's rent up front and a month's rent. It's like 2 months rent up front, pretty much. That's the sum of it. And I'm pretty sure when you move out, you get it back anyway. So they're acting as though they have to buy a house. If they find a studio apartment, that's like, I don't know what it's like over in the States, but if they find a studio apartment for $400 a month, they'll just need an $800 down payment
And if it comes furnished, even better. If not, I'm sure someone would happily lend them some furniture until they can get maybe some like stuff off like, what do you have over in the States? Craigslist. Yes. Make sure there's no bed bugs, because that's disgusting. Well, yeah, not the asshole. There are so many options. They're just choosing the fastest and easiest way out, which happens to be your house. They think you are the easy solution, and the easy way out where they don't have to lift a finger and they can just hop from one room to the next. And realistically, if they put in a little bit of effort, they would have multiple solutions, multiple ways out, and more than one bedroom, maybe. Whoa, they'd even have their own bathroom.
Thank you for sticking by until the end. If you enjoyed, please do like, share, comment, subscribe, whatever it is that YouTube requires you to do to grow your channel. And I shall see you in the next video, besties. Mwah.